A new corporate entity has been formed by SBI Holdings that is fully supported by the XDC network. Now, when it comes to XDC, especially on this channel, let me show you something. We don't mess around. We've been here for a little bit. So I'm excited to share this information with you guys. And I'm also excited to share with you what has been happening on the digital trade front in general. We're also going to learn why Japan is so important to this development, as well as a new conversation that may be coming to the XDC network. We're talking cross-border payments, ladies and gentlemen. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's just dive right into this. If you don't know, the SBI VC trade relationship started back in May, but the discussion goes all the way back to at least 2020. So this is a lot of years, a lot of work, a lot of collaboration, and it's really starting to bear fruit. So let's just dive right into this. It says, until now, our group has been able to secure the only XDC token in Japan through the conclusion of a partnership agreement between XDC Network and SBI VC Trade, which operates a crypto asset exchange business within our group. We've started handling the following and have provided various related services. So yes, this is very true. You can now stake XDC network through their partners out there, their exchange partners. There's also institutional custody as well. Now, a lot of people overlook this, but that had a very, very significant impact on the price of XDC, which we're going to share a little bit later. But let's finish this. In the future, we will work to expand the use cases of the XDC network's blockchain technology, not only in the handling of tokens, but also in global economic activities centered on trade finance and cross-border payments. Now, I did have to translate this from SBI's website. It was in Japanese, excuse me. So the wording may be a bit funny here. But what was very clear to me is now they're going to start implementing cross-border payments on the XDC network, and it's going to happen thanks to the relationship with R3 Corda. All right. It's not often that we get documentation about use of this bridge, guys. And if you take a look at this diagram here, you'll see the key players that are involved. SBI VC Trade, which will act as the trading platform. And then you also have Impel. Impel brings in the ISO 20022 functionality, which Japan has been using since about 2017. So again, not a surprise there. But what you learn when you look at the documentation for the XDC network is that they're capable of something called atomic settlement. So if you're looking to process batch payments, large volumes, this is definitely the best network. Fiat payments that occur in transactions between companies are performed on XDC via Corda and the Corda bridge. By utilizing a hybrid blockchain that can be used both privately and publicly, private areas such as transaction information make it possible to perform one-stop payments, including in the public realm, such as value transfer. This makes it possible to provide a more efficient and smooth payment method for overseas payments related to business transactions, including international trade compared to normal legal currency transactions. So they're not just looking to use XDC for digital trade documentation. They're also looking to use XDC for a number of cross-border payments. And when you dive deeper into the XDC ecosystem, that actually lends to their DeFi side, their decentralized finance side. When you consider the fact that the lending and borrowing that these trade companies are going to be most likely doing alongside of the digitization of the documents, you're going to need an instant and efficient settlement system. So that's what they're positioning XDC for. And again, like I mentioned in the press release, that roadmap, it not only included R3 Corda, but it also included the other major players in the XDC ecosystem. We're talking the Trada token, Walts Pay, Stasis, Kinesis, Prime Numbers, Plugin. So they're really only getting started. They are really only getting started. And this collaboration was mainly headed up through the players at TradeFinex, which is out in the United Arab Emirates. So there's another connection there because another player in the ecosystem for XDC is Comtech Gold, the DMCC, the digitization of real world assets, gold, silver, so forth and so on. So that pulls all of those things under SBI's umbrella, supported by the XDC network. And then there's, of course, your political ties between Japan and the EU that may also get involved through their relationships with stasis and the stablecoins. So it's massive, guys. Now, there's going to come a new website, which, in and of itself is nothing, shocking, but it gives us a glimpse of what they're looking to do in the future. From localization of XDC network-related information in Japan to support for crypto asset exchanges wishing to handle XDC tokens and expansion of partnerships with subnet layer 2 companies, XDC Trade Network, an affiliate company of XDC Network, we aim to become an information hub that widely provides the innovative solutions of the XDC network, such as expanding the trade finance solutions provided by the XDC network to the entire APAC region. So that's very key to take note of. Not only the focus on the APAC region, but the corporate structure that XDC is forming now. All right. I'm still studying these fair value accounting rules for crypto, and it has me looking at the governance structures, because at a certain point, the asset becomes intangible. So I'm wondering if XDC is on that track. On top of that, last time SBI VC Trade and XDC were in the news, if you take a look at the yearly chart for XDC, we're up 82% over the year. But you see that large spike right in the middle of the chart? Yeah. That was the last time. That was the announcement of this relationship with SBI VC Trade. And you'll notice that we have stayed away from the 4-cent range, 3-cent range, like a bad X. All right. Ever since then. And that's because SBI brought with it the buying, the storing, the facilitating of XDC tokens to Japanese exchanges and companies. So the DeFi ecosystem with the Fathom stablecoin is about to increase, as well as everything else that's going on. XSwap, Globiance, right? Let's not forget about Globiance in this conversation. Now, I want to share with you the other side of this, because you got to be able to connect what's going on in the crypto world with the corresponding events from the traditional side that enhance the use case here, enhance the value. So I had to figure out what makes Japan so important. Why are they so focused on this? Well, they had a meeting in September of this year, guys, 2023 Incheon Law and Business Forum, from documents to data, legal and commercial solutions for digital trade. There were many members from the DSI initiative, the ITFA, the IMDA, which is an XDC network partner. And they talked about trade finance and fintech, transport and logistics, MLETR implementation, transport and logistics for paperless trade, trade and data, digital trade agreements, and a roundtable on digital trade law reform in Asia and the Pacific. So this is a collaboration of companies that focus on digital trade that came together to discuss solutions. And from what I've learned as serving as a member of a committee, when they put together these documents, ladies and gentlemen, these are legal. So that means that there are certain mandates. There are certain things that they must do if they put it on paper, right? So the first thing I found was from the Mitsubishi Research Institute, MRI, and they're going to talk about first the measures that other countries have taken towards trade digitalization. I'm not going to read all of these, but what I want to point out to you is that France is planning to implement support for currency management, container tracking, trade document digitalization, and connectors to ensure interoperability between platforms. That's what France is focused on. Now, in our last update on XDC, we talked about which countries were implementing MLETR, and France was in the legislation process. Well, it seems like they've made it a step further. But we're talking about Japan here, and Mitsubishi actually gives us a detailed roadmap, all right? And what I just want you to look at is right in the middle, and it starts for 2024. What they're looking to do is establish a forum for consultation with the private sector to discuss the interoperability of digital trade documents. 2, develop a trade data distribution infrastructure to ensure reliability or the authentication originality of documents. That's XDC's name right over it. But further down at the bottom, develop a neutral trade data distribution infrastructure that promotes value creation within the ecosystem, promote the use of existing digital data related to trade documents, and support startup companies in offering innovative solutions to practical needs in trade operations. So from 2023 into 2026, this is what Japan has planned for the digital trade transition. And with the positioning of SBI and the XDC network, this really, like I said, like I was talking to the committee earlier today, this put XDC at the top of the pyramid when it comes to trade finance. Now, there's another company that was at this meetup here. It's called Trade Walts. Now, they are a private blockchain-based digital trade platform. Now, they don't have a token. They're not on the market or anything like that. And they're also not going to be an opponent to XDC, because what they have been trying to do since they were founded in 2017 is connect the existing digital trade platforms that are already working in the APAC region in Japan and the Asian ASEAN region, right? That's very interesting because they are now part of a group called the FIT Alliance, which is a collection of companies related to digital trade finance, right? Let me show you who else is on this alliance. The XDC network, Yoda Plus, Anigio, the Blockchain Shipping and Container Association. So Yoda Plus is one of XDC's DeFi applications, DeFi partners here. They help with the borrowing and lending of trade finance documents, right? What I find to be interesting, though, is that Trade Walt's whole game plan is to connect as many digital trade platforms as possible. And being a part of this FIT alliance, there are at least 4 trade platforms on this alliance that use XDC, as well as XDC's trade network that they now have a relationship with. And Trade Waltz, again, in my research, that was the company that kept popping up, especially for the APAC region. Now, this next bit of information here, the slide says strictly confidential, so I'm not sure legally. And I should be showing you this, but I just want to share this one crucial piece of information. Their trade consortium has proposed an amendment to their law, and the Legislative Council has started to consult it. Our timeline, they are going to put this before Parliament sometime in 2024, early 2025, and it is scheduled to be enforced by 2027. That may seem like a long time, but this next bull cycle is going to take up at least 2 years of that. So as we enter 2024, we can expect the same type of regulations, legislation that we got from the EU in relation to MiCA, that we got from the UK when it comes to the Electronic Trade Documents Act. That same thing is now coming in Japan. And with their relationship with SBI VC Trade, SBI Holdings, now a corporate arm, XDC is in the best position to win here. Best position to win. But that's the news, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I know we shared a lot today, but when it comes to XDC, like I said, we don't mess around. With that, I do want you to have a great day, of course. Have a prosperous day. And always remember, if the money is digital, so is the hustle.